Alright, let's start this. Sometimes failing a task can lead to more interesting results than if you succeeded. I will be a metal. Your mind wakes in darkness. Oh, talks to me. That's awkward.
A distant howling surrounds you, louder with each passing second. Insistent and invisible hands slap and tear at the membrane that protects you. Your first emotion is an involuntary and formless panic. You feel you have forgotten something important, as if it once meant the world to you, but the details slip away as you grasp at them. You force your eyes open.
Look at this body, look around, look at the body.
The body is... wait, you are wearing a form-fitting suit of some dark material. You recall that you were wearing something much more elaborate a short time ago. You have smooth, light brown skin, 5 fingers on each hand, 5 toes on each foot. Good muscles, strong but not bulky, and slim hips. Your palms are soft, as if they have not done much labor, but scars and burns on the hands and wrists suggest that you haven't always been careful. Why can't you remember this? Without warning, the cocoon that surrounds you shreds and tears away. You are falling. Above you, a small moon is slowly collapsing in on itself. The world is many kilometers below you.
Look at the horizon, flatten out to catch the wind. Try to judge how far it's to the ground. Dive. I don't want to fall to the ground because I don't have a parachute, so I'll look.
Falling too rapidly to get a good look.
Darn.
You can see a large landmass, a vast body of water directly
Oh,
below
that's good then.
and scattered archipelagos, but the detail eludes you. A deep black night is above you, its nocturnal clarity disappearing as the haze of atmosphere envelops you.
Low flat, stabilized, try to vertical turn.
You spread your arms and legs, and there is
Or remember when I've
a
planned.
strange sensation. Since you realize this body is new to you, the spinning and tumbling stops. The wind still howls past your new ears, a vast roar that deadens a part of your infant mind. Water springs unbidden to your eyes, the tears torn away by the wind. Through the haze of moisture, it is difficult to see, but if you focus your attention, you may be able to make out the details of the world.
Focus and look at the world, or try to remember what happened. Uh, Let's focus.
Now that you can focus on it, you see that the large mass is clearly a gargantuan megacontinent.
Oops. There you go.
The only land of any size on this side of the world, at least. Great inland seas and lakes dot its enormity, and curiously, regular mountain ranges march up and down across its surface. You are falling toward what looks to be a great bay, a sprawling city perched on its shore just to the north. Further north and east lies a broad plain, scattered with curious structures visible even from this height. The northeastern part of your vision is a perfectly circular desert, a blue dot containing a watery city in its exact center. To the west lies a rim of mountains, surmounted by enormous carven peaks spewing magma into a central catchment zone. What concerns you most right now is the ground. It's coming at you fast. Directly below you is a little bay.
Try to aim for the water.
Until your arms and cup your hands, but the wind batters you and you lose control of your fall. You begin to tumble again. You have no idea where you are aimed. A mass of colors surrounds you, and the sound of roaring wind diminishes noticeably, and it is never enough. And there is a sickening crack as you strike something, the howl of a sudden surge of energy, and then darkness.
Ooh. Nope, I can move. Don't go towards the light over there. What's over here? Nothing. Ooh. Interact. Jumbled faults cloud your head as you study an empty bowl before you. Drops of liquid fall from the ceiling, spattering on the ground next to the bowl. The light from every drop is reflected in the bowl's rounded hollow, as if it hungers for that light and needs to be filled. Yet the bowl remains dry. Another drop falls from the ceiling and splashes across the pylons, wasted. Salmon bowl. You trace your fingers over the slippery overlapping scales that spiral up from the bottom of the bowl. The sharp-toothed brim plucks at your skin. It's going to be tricky to move this bowl without slashing your fingers on the edge. You might have to put some effort into it. Reflect light streaks across the surface of the bowl as another drop that falls from the ceiling. When carrying out your first task, you have 3 staples: might, speed, and intellect, that you can spend to increase your chance of success. This is called effort, or use an effort. To more easily move the bowl in front of you, use left click to spend might for a higher level of effort. Don't worry if you fail this task, and Torment failure often results in interesting outcomes. Critical success. The staple spent on the first sword. Cool. You carefully take hold of the bowl, avoiding the teeth in the serrated rim. With a deep breath, you move it over the glowing pool of the fallen light. Surely I should be the one pushing it, not that it magically slides across the floor. Drop to drop, the bowl feels ripples spreading over the blurred outline of reflection. A pale blue luminescence stretches into the corners of the room. Clear radiance spills across the segmented floor, washing away the near shadows and pouring into your mind, melting the ragged edges of your fragmented thoughts. You are not whole, not yet, but you have begun to heal from the damage done in your long fall. Look fine to me. A voice calls out from somewhere high above, beyond the reaches of the spreading light. Hello, are you still alive down there? Blah blah blah. Okay. I thought people were going to talk to me. A voice talking. I like to read it. Zoom out. Zoom in. Zooming out. The room surface of the ball moves to the right. What if I do that? Touch, you feel a strange tightness in your head, and as soon as the ball is far too heavy to move now. Even though the tent makes your arms weak and heavy. No point in tiring myself out. As soon as you touch the orb, a memory floods your mind. Whoa. You stand in front of a rusted door. The air is humid and dank. You've had a moment's respite from this waterlogged hell. A bubble of stale air your resting point. You've breathed water before. Pressure has been crushing. Oh, yeah. Breathed water before, and you've lived decades beneath the waves. But this body is an air breather, and the constant pressure has been crushing you ever so subtly. Whereas your companion's mind seems to be wandering from task at hand. He's a genius to machines, as you all know, but he seems distracted. The device in his hand is covered in knobs, wires, and antennas. He believes that it can get the two of you through the corridor door, but he's merely staring at it. Perhaps he's lost faith in this invention, but that is hardly your concern. This mission cannot be delayed, it must proceed. Deceive him by telling him that you've heard sounds of pursuit. Threaten him until you task. Signal and cast a spell and trust you to fix the device yourself. Oh, just like that. More furious, throwing power from the air around you until a solution appears in your mind. You snatch the power from roll out and show it back at him. Oh, you say it's some work. Sorry, I was trying to improve the thing. Waves the device at the door, and the stale air of your bubble freshens as the door swings open. A dark hallway lies beyond a passage that links the water-bordered cells and aquatic viewing areas. What you seek lies there. Moments later, you're underwater again, your hands closing around a strange yet familiar artifact you need to complete something. It hovers above the pedestal, rotating in the dark water. An electronic current runs through your fingers as your hand crosses the vertical plane of the pedestal. An iridescent field coalesces. Big words. So fast that the wave of pressure dazes you for a moment. The rising pulse of the sonar alarm ripples through the water. The guards won't be far behind. Run. You can come back for it. Won't be able to protect forever. Disable. Use your device. Well, let's try that. You're on urgent fingers crossed the device is fastened to your waist. A fog rises in your mind. A few can be used against guards, but it will also turn your skin to set still. Or the surrounding water to boiling wax. Hardly ideal. Finally, you find a small silver sphere. Set in a certain place, you kick desperately for the safety of nearby. The sphere whirls and then falls into a spiraling vortex. The sphere at its center speaks a few polite words in an ancient language, then begins draining the surrounding water in itself. With alarming speed, the approaching guards shout, then scream as they too are sucked into the whirlpool and ripped to pieces. You allow yourself a fleeting smile, but you are all aware that more alarms are going off in the distance. The memory begins to fade, as if you are being drawn backward through a tunnel, and you hear more pilings rising from the pit. Something is wrong. The fence within the orb have settled into that gap in your mind. The edges of it are rough, as though the memory itself is not truly yours. And something else. A gust of sour air pulling at you, like a predator inhaling the scent of its prey at the far end of a dark, whispering field. I suppose we're gonna have to go up there. Whoa. The floor just... That's weird. Examine. The light around the door's frames dims and flares like a roaring fire in a high wind. Examine. No sign or symbol tells you what might be behind this enormous door. A dull chill radiates from its bronze segment surface, and the thick metal wheel seems frozen in place. Oh, that's the thinking does. You stand beside a woman on the verdant crag. Beneath the two of you is a broad plateau towering above the overgrowth far below. Strange machines have been built into the cliffside, presumably for reconnaissance or defense. A metallic disc gleams from the center of the plateau. Your self-aware humanoid machines draw into the base of the cliffs below. If you are looking for a sentry, and you are desperate, this seems like the right place. I don't know about this, the woman says, her voice flat, neutral. Her face is turned away from the view. What makes this place any more secure than the others we found? 1. Draw her attention to the hidden details that your more experienced eye can clearly see. Use your charm to persuade her of the merits and sight and remind her of the time constraints. Convince her the wisdom of your superior intellect. Let's go for that one. You shade your eyes against the bright sun so that you can point to the thin bands radiating out from the metallic disc. How the energy from these bands affects the local fauna, suggesting an enormous source of prior world energy. She thinks deeply. Is geological sound? Have you run the sounding samples and checked the strata? No major caverns or weakness showed up on your resonance scans? She waits for information and says, Alright, I'm convinced. The two of you sketch your plans for the sanctuary, drawing schematics and architectural diagrams. Then you descend onto the plateau to examine the open ground. The woman suggests having one of the servitors build a shelter for your time here. You try to draw one of the constraints away from its task, but it doesn't respond to your voice. When you lay a hand on its shoulder to reinforce your command, it whirls and strikes you across the face with inhuman speed. It turns back to its task, ignoring you. Your companion helps you rise, laugh and rise. It seems your construct has other ideas. What's the matter with it? Use the Numenera grade in the construct body to overrun the behavior malfunction. Examine the construct for mechanical faults. Look for deep sleep. That's an effect of the metallic disc itself. Oh yeah, do that. A mist falls on the plateau as you wrap a fiber shielding mesh around the construct's skull. The mesh powers up, protecting the construct's mind from any transdismal emissions that might be in there. Taking the air for repeat your command. Acknowledged. It a billion trundles to the site of your new shelter. The image freezes, then fades, and you feel the memory filling the gap. And the gap in your mind, block by jagged block. You stagger, clutching your hand, reclaiming your memory hearts. And once more, there's something else. Hairs left one by one. The back neck. Something behind this room can sense what you're doing and is hunting you. Oh, well that's not good. Just like the fence. Calvin scratched some rooms. Someone made a great effort to get inside into Nouvelle. Well, maybe I'm not the first person down here. A vision of a city springs up around you. Your city in flames and under attack. Our defenders have fought and died all day. And still the attackers keep coming. They fight as if your destruction were demanded of them. They care nothing for mercy, surrender, or plunder. What they want is blood. But you have brought a keen-eyed companion to the top of the tower. She has seen the way to stop the invaders. You need to get her to safety, and you need to rally your defenders. But even as you turn toward the door of the tower, two of the attackers descend from a hovering machine. You don't have time to strike at them before they land. One is brutalishly large. His weapons a vibrating axe, the other is slim, sheathed in glassy armor, and holding the hilt of a sizzling and fizzing invisible blade. That's never good. Your companion backs away. She's too young to help. Your enemy is advanced single file, confined by the parapet. Straight below this giant, you can hide up for at least a strike or two. Duck under the giant, swing and attack before you can strike. Fight defensively and figure out who presents the greater threat. Let's do that one. The memory seems crystal clear. The giant is menacing. It is true. The invisible blade of his companion is more worrisome still. The energy field that flickers and waves around it suggests that she can carve matter at the molecular level, tearing pieces of her target into nothingness. If you are to save yourself, your best bet is to attack Wolf first. She stepped behind the giant, waiting her turn to attack you, unable to bring her weapon to bear until he's out of the way. But it's clear that she expects him to handle you, and her eyes rove behind you. Her focus on your ward. She's certainly not expecting you to dive between the giant's legs and come up inside her guard. She can't bring her blade to bear in time, and you drive her dagger up under her chin. You catch her before her deadly blade drops onto you and spin her around. The weapon slashes into the giant and he topples, bisected. Sweet. The intermediate threat ended. You focus on finding your way back to your allies. You open the tower door and rush down the stairs. The door at the base of the stairs is slightly cracked, opening just a bit into the hall. You hear more of the enemy soldiers beyond. Hurl yourself against the door and knock them to the ground. Crack the door open to sneak past them. Charge through them, counting on your defences to protect you. Let's go for that one. You press yourself against the gleaming door, easing it open, and your breath catches in your throat as it squeaks quietly. The sound like a bell in your memory. You pause, so the soldiers in the hall continue to talk. You push again. You squeeze yourself through the narrow opening and creep down the blood-stained hall. The memory begins to fade, and you find yourself back in your own body. Your temples throb the racing force of your heartbeat, and the reclaimed memories blaze within you, like a bonfire on a mountain peak, visible to every predator for kilometers around. A tremor rocks the floor beneath you, as though a massive fist has struck the room itself. Swaying on your feet, you see frantic movement within the borders of a mirror and at the edge of the room. Oh, sweet way out. Run, fast, run. The board of this mirror. Pardon me. Oh, cough me. I don't know. Yeah. The board of this mirror is lavishly decorated with a dizzying number of interlocked symbols, daggers, masks, paintbrushes, amulets, and more. But there's nothing compared to what you see in the glass. You see a vast crowd of people, exact doppelgangers of you, shoving, arguing, and fighting each other. Most are drab imitations of you, but a precious few are vivid and pull away attention. Each of them bears an intricate pentacle tattoo on their head. In their eyes, the actions you see, the memories you see of the orbs, and the choices you made, shining like distant stars, your hand twitches to your side. And through some of the bright doppelgangers ignore you. An even smaller number immediately turn to you, waiting for you to choose them and learn what you might become. A rumble shakes the room in slow vibration. its axe rippling towards the ceiling. Point the doppelganger moving cautiously through the crowd, point to the one with the clever eyes, or the mystical symbol in its head, or the one observing all the others, or step away from the mirror. Let's see. Cautiously through the crowd. There's a cautious person. Clever one. I might go for the mystical symbol actually. Seems like a cool one. Yeah, I'll go for that one. The doppelganger shudders its way through the crowd, casually donning an 8-fingered glove. 8 fingers, blimey. Then it digs its fingers into the glass between you. With a grunt, it tears a hole in the surface, shaped like a pointed arrow. Carefully, the doppelganger speaks an unfamiliar word in your ear, and the ground itself seems to turn. As if you're standing inside the door the doppelganger has just opened. When you look around, the hole has disappeared and nothing's changed. Or has it? The one plucks the 8-fingered glove from its hand and waits for your decision. What the fuck? Let's consider. Falling into a well-balanced crouch, the doppelganger creeps towards you, scanning its surroundings with suspicious eyes. Each movement takes into bear. Following the crouch, the one waits for your decision. Clever eyes. The makes way with you. It's about to speak for Fugger's figure. When the Fugger's figure charges out the crowd and shakes his knife in the doppelganger's face. Speaking in voice, the doppelganger raises a claim hand, appealing to the Fug's better nature, a combination of disarming wit and outright lies. Scowling, the Fug lowers his knife and apologizes to the doppelganger for the trouble. Huh. Seems like a cool one. What's this way? Sidling around the edge of the unruly crowd, the doppelganger cautions you to silence with a finger at its lips. Together you scan the room and its habits. Noting every potential hazard and hearing every drop of the strange liquid in the depths beneath your feet. Waits your decision. Well, I am quite normally, and I do like charms, but I think mystical is cool. Yes, that is who I am. Game descriptor, mystical. Ooh, mystical. The remaining doppelgangers scatter for the edges of the mirror and vanish. Your chosen identity steps forward. Its appearance changes as it steps out of the rippling glass. Its face exudes intelligence and confidence. Shadows of several devices shimmer around it. Technology of several kinds from a array of past ages. You get the feeling you, will be comfortable with all of it. The word nano sounds in your mind. Nanotech? Your doppelganger continues stepping into you, filling you, making you whole. Your decision rings out in the cavernous room, awakening and unlocking vast mechanisms. Behind the walls, suddenly a grotesque noise rings through the shared worlds, like a bell. If bells could drop, something is coming. The mirror fades, leaving a dark, open doorway. You take a deep breath and step through. Your choices in the memories and the mirror have begun to build your character. But now you have the opportunity to decide a number of details. First, you can decide to change your type. Type defines abilities and skills you're able to acquire as you advance. Cool. Say a mystical nano. Well, I'll use like intellect, so I'll go for that one. Intellect. Good choices. Smart. Heavy weapons, medium weapons, concentration, cipher use, imitation, lore, mystical. That's obviously because I'm a mage. Change character type. Glaive, jack, nano. Nanos are sometimes called mages. Whatever they're called, nanos master the mysteries of the past to the degree that they seem to perform miracles or using spell-like invocation, combine gestures, command words, and the psychic disciplines. They tap into nano spirits, numerous particles that suffice the landscape, distort reality, or learn things that they otherwise wouldn't know. Please note, concentration, cyber, limit, increase, onslaught. Type determines your character abilities, bonus skills, stats, features. 2 intellect, plus 2 intellect deal, pool. 2 points to spirit to any pool, plus 5 health at each tier after first. Gain 2 abilities at each tier. Can pick 1 law skill at tier 1. Ooh, sounds cool. Yeah, let's keep it the same. What's that do? No, it's gonna. It doesn't even tell me what it does. Practice for finance of allows you to carry more. Allows you to carry more without risking ill effects. All right. Concentration also probably needs to concentrate. Choose a damage type. Deal 5 damage to that type and confer a minor additional effect based on the choice. +1 damage per effect applied, max +6. Novice, don't get bonus. Defended by willpower, consumes action. Store attack. Sell your foes' bodies on them all the mines for a blast of summoned energy. Don't know if I can do anything with that. What heavy weapons? 200 melee or cannon-like ranged weapons. Medium crossbow are crossbows, rifles, and single-handed melee weapons. Strike troops. Use strike drone. Concentration. Ability, 1 bonded artifact slot. Novus. Every equipped bonded artifact confers a negative effect. Trained plus 3 bonded artifacts equipped to the first slot do not confer negative. So what's this? Inability. Inability is the first one. I'm unable to use them. I see. Knowledge of sciences that are not exactly physical. Cool. Stat pools the resources you use to apply effort or activate abilities. You can distribute the points as you see fit. Glaives tend to favour might and or speed, while knives favour intellect. Jacks usually benefit from a balance set. So mental power and wellness, increasable power. Speed is invasion. And increases character direct interaction times. And might represent the character's physical strength and resilience. Increases health. There you go. Intellect and speed. Gotta be fast. I'm a fast mage. Or nano. Abilities in Lockbird type can be active. Actions such as attacks or spell like a source, or unique passive effects. Okay. Scan vaults. The surface vaults for most people, creatures speak preparing conversations. Sourceful, gain +1 training level. Just carry additional ciphers. Remove all negative vectors. Lose flank and lasting damage. Heals 6 points of health. 5 uses per day. Active for rounds, so it's basically a shield, 2 armor, 1 resistance, or quantum step. Teleport. Ooh. I'm gonna go for teleport. Actually, no. I do like the teleportation. I also want scan vaults, but I think I should go for attack and spell. Teleport. There you go. Remove all negative petals, and it heals me. So, yeah. Let's go for healing and scan faults. Character creation. Most skills increase your chance of success in specific kinds of actions and tasks, but some give other passive bonuses. Each skill starts at the novice level and can be increased to trained and specialized, granting greater bonuses at each level. Descriptors often leave some spells at the inability level, meaning they inflict penalties. When upgraded, these return to the novice level. Oh, so I can use them, but I'm crap at them. Alright, choose an exploration skill. I can be more mystical. I can be machinery instead. Or natural machinery. No, academic knowledge of machines, mechanics, and physical sciences, or of natural sciences and physical creatures. I'll go machinery and mystical, because that's like creatures and magic and that's all that. Only those can receive training in weapon skills. Alright. Character creation. Although you chose your descriptor from among the many doppelgangers in the mirror, You now have the chance to view the specific bonuses and penalties it grants. You can also examine the effects of other descriptors and choose a new one if you wish. So what one's mine? Gives them the charming, smooth talker, clever, plus 2 adrenaline power, graceful, intelligent, learned, mechanical, mystical. That's I picked mystical, so remember that. Observant, rugged, slick, stealthy, strong-willed, swift, tough, and wrathful. Oh, mystical sounds cool, so I picked the right one. Although I like to be clever, or like intelligence, or to be clever, charming, mystical. It's just, it sounds cool. Alright, we'll see. This is the last chance to change the last characters. Last cast off. Yeah. And that, this game is episode 1.